Here we go. This is the next card, and I feel like these cards just totally go together. So it's kind of more of the same. Which I mean, of course, they go together. We've learned that when I do card pulls on this podcast. So I don't know why I continue to be surprised. This is Share Your Voice, and I was trying to find. Let's look it up here. Share your voice, share your voice, share your voice. Page 76. Okay. All right, we'll read that in a second. So this, again, it's interesting that the setup of these two women, they're both in similar spaces. So I don't think that you can really see those, but you can see that they're both sitting, perched, listening. And it's interesting because this gal in the Share Your Voice, I feel like she's in this cave, which I think about, and that's reverberation. I feel like, if you go into a cave and you're like, hello, hello, right? And that's fun because you can hear your voice echo, and it's like, wow, nature's microphone. Or maybe you're cool and you wouldn't say something like that. But so that's something that's interesting to me, that she's sitting out to face the world. But yeah, she's in this cave, but she's not all the way back in the cave. She's right at like the lip where it goes out. So again, this idea of where even on this card, it says come out of the cave, persecution and expression. So it's like right there on that threshold of like, if you are on that threshold, like let her rip, let her ride, baby. Like you're already right there, where it's like I think that's the other thing of we don't have to. I encourage you to be so courageous where it's like, if you've already gotten to that spot where it's like, your soul's calling, what the next step is, or what the first step is, and you're already right there, like you're already at the edge. It's like you're already exposed, where it's like, come on up, come out with your hands up. Like if you're walking out of that cave, like you are already exposed to the elements. You are already there. So it's like, you might as well let her rip. And I think what's so interesting is the more that you put one foot in front of the other in step of whatever your calling is and share your voice, and whatever that means. Again, sharing your voice doesn't necessarily mean where it's like, now you have to have a podcast, or, it may be as simple as like, maybe you're the one in your family who, always stays silent. I'm going to take on the brunt for everybody else. I'm going to take it on. I'm going to take it on and take it on. Maybe you're that person, or, maybe you are in a work environment and you're like, I know this isn't working and I know the thing that'll fix it, but I'm scared to speak up, or maybe it's above my pay grade and I'm not supposed to talk or whatever. It's like, share your voice, and if I know that you guys know this, but it's like, if you're scared to share your voice because you don't know what the outcome is, and maybe it's going to piss some people off, or, it's going to cause you to be like, fuck, I got to leave this relationship, or I got to leave this job or whatever. It's like, let her rip, put your hands up in the air. It's like you are already exposed. You're already there and you already know. And it's like, if you, it comes in this element of like trust. That's that again, that answering the call, going back to it. How many times in the day can you go back to what that place of connection is? Because, that muscle, that sense of connection, that connectedness to yourself or your higher power, whatever that is, that has to get stronger than everything that's outside. Because otherwise, what is it? Stand for something or you'll fall for anything, right? Just like a poster in a detention center or something. But detention center. Anyway, so you do, it's that's the sense of, I've noticed that I've in my integration and kind of this quote unquote leveling up and getting ready for what's next, and being in this, really truthfully, all of the old parts of myself have completely burnt off now, and navigating the world, both being in the world and of it, right? Which is why I love comedy and these other things that feel very human in so many ways, that kind of keep me grounded and connected. And then how can I use that tool and also feel very, ethereal and connected and feminine and my highest expression? And the only way that I can do that is to stay connected to myself, so that if I get in a situation with people where I'm like, oh, these people don't operate like me. And that's not a judgment, but it's simply like, oh, I feel like I'm not going to be understood, or they're going to think I'm weird, or these aren't my people, or whatever. The more that I'm connected to what is the calling, the more that I answer the scam likely, the more that I'm there, that I'm able to come out of the cave. I'm able to share my voice. And even if you're like, oh, I was sharing, then I got scared, and then, it's like I went back into the cave, like, that's the great thing. You're always welcome to walk back out. And the other interesting thing to me about a cave is that it's dark. And when you get to that, the closer and closer you get to the opening, you get more and more light. It's not the opposite. It's not like being in a cave and hiding and whatever that means to you. It's not like, oh, it was this perfect situation, and now, it's like, oh, now I'm like walking out and it's dark and it's scary. No, it's quite the opposite. It's asking you, it's calling you to come out of the cave. That's our grab bag, baby. All right, let's read this. Share your voice, and then we'll wrap it up. Share your voice. Come out of the cave. Persecution, expression. You're being called to share your voice, perhaps by speaking up in a relationship, or through writing, speaking, singing, or some other form of creative expression. We each hold a deep truth within us that longs to be expressed, sculpted for lifetimes. The voice of your soul is like no other. It carries with it wisdom that can only be gained through soul history and growth. Soul history. What a great name for a podcast. Okay. By remembering, tapping into, and expressing this unique tone, we not only heal ourselves, but we also heal the planet at large. When you share your voice, you unlock something in the universe and call a missing piece of you home. Your individual voice is the most powerful sound current on the planet. If you've kept your soul's voice silent or held back, chanting or singing could be truly life-changing for you. As we shed the layers of our personality and start letting our unique soul speak through us, we discover that we actually have a very clear message that longs to be shared. So the more we speak, the clearer it gets. There has never been a better time in history than right now to speak up, share your truth, and share your soul's voice. If you feel fearful, know that you are not alone and that the world needs your unique tone in order to harmonize. As we each rise up and share our song, we make it easier for the next person to do the same. Ways to activate your light: express yourself, share your voice, and speak to those who can hear you. One thing I want to circle back on here is where it says, the world needs your unique tone in order to harmonize. Two things on that. One thing I've been thinking a lot about is all of the old versions of myself that I've grieved, or I think about and I like cringe and I feel bad for, of like, oh my God, I can't believe I couldn't stand up for myself, or that I thought I wasn't worthy, and all these like feelings come up of sadness and anger and all these things. And I was like, well, I can't go back and fix that. But what I can do now is do what I can now and hold her hand. And that's what I can do. And go, it's okay that we didn't do it then, but we're doing it now. So we do right. We rewrite our history. We rewrite our future by acting now. The difference was then I didn't know any better, or however you define it, right? I didn't know any better at the time. And now I do. I know a different way. I've created a different way. So we do different. Also, when you have these amazing, unique, beautiful gifts, I find it is almost, because when I get scared of like, I don't want people to think that I'm arrogant. That's always like a core negative belief for me. I don't want people to think I'm too loud. I don't want them to think I'm arrogant. And it's like, which, I mean, it's a whole podcast for a different day of like why women can't be confident, but who's got time? Okay. But the idea of, I am doing the divine a disservice. I am being disrespectful to the divine by not allowing my gifts to rise to the level of intelligence that they are able to. So that's how I feel now, where it's like, it's not even, yes, as Rachel, I want to feel confident, but it almost feels this way of like, it's almost very Greek in a way of, of appeasing the gods, of almost like, how dare I be, again, it's like I could have been born in any other time in history, and who knows, maybe I was. Okay. Past lives. But to be born right now, and it's like, these are the divine gifts that I've been given. And so who am I to say like, oh, I don't want to shine, or oh, I don't want to share, oh, I don't want anybody. Everybody should be doing it. Everybody, it's not me saying I'm special. It's me going, if I can, you can too. Why are we not? Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. And also, on a funny note, the thing that you'll notice is you'll get loud to where you're like, oh, well, certainly people will start to not like me, or they'll unfollow me, or people will want to break up with me if I become more and more myself. And you'll notice how many people don't even fucking notice you. And can I tell you, what a great thing. What a great thing, because it makes you realize where it's like, you are so insignificant. Not everybody's paying attention. It's really not that big of a deal. Stay in your lane, connect with yourself, and share your voice, right?